Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, along with the release of the digital singles and mixes of What It Feels Like for a Girl, we also got a new version of the video, which is replacing the old video. It's in HD, and there are some differences. The first thing I noticed was the aspect ratio. I mean, at first I actually thought, oh, this looks good, it looks nice, it looks sharp, but then I sort of wasn't sure. I looked back at the original video and I thought, oh, okay, they've changed the aspect ratio. It was originally 16:10, now it's 16:9. Now 16:10 is higher and not as wide as 16:9. So, like for example, if you compare images, the first image when Madonna's sitting on the bed at the start, you can see her hands in the original video. In the new one, they sort of are cut off at the thumbs, and there's a little bit more space on top of the screen at the back of the screen, so that's going to affect like every frame, but it's not a huge difference. But I always think it's better to stick with the original aspect. But the other issue, the one that is more noticeable, is that they have obviously put the video through some software either to upscale it, because I don't know if the film was originally done on film and if it was originally scanned and then put on a video and they didn't go back to the original film, or if it was originally done on digital and they didn't have like the original, or it's kind of hard to tell. They've either upscaled the original video, which usually gives a soft and contrasty image where it sort of creates the illusion of sharpness by eliminating grain and detail, but you sort of lose detail as well, and you get this sort of soft sort of look, and often kind of a contrast which gives you sort of lines and edges, but they're not sort of true edges and true detail. And the other sort of version of what they might have done is, if they had the original film, sometimes filmmakers are scared of grain in film, especially when they do like a scan in high definition, because you can see, you know, in detail. And they apply filters and software to eliminate the grain, but that sort of has the same problem with the upscaling of the video sometimes, where the upscaling of the video, they're usually trying to eliminate pixels and sort of things like that from low resolution. But with the film grain and eliminating that, they're usually trying to soften the image as well for the same reason, because it's too sharp and you can see everything. And it results in the same sort of issue where you have this softness and sort of artificial contrast to sort of give the illusion of detail or sharpness that isn't there. And it's quite noticeable in some areas, like when Madonna, you see the close-ups of her face. I remember when I first saw the video being kind of impressed that she was sort of going for a sort of low sort of makeup, unglamorous sort of real sort of look. And you could see some of the fine lines, and you felt like you could see the texture of her skin. And it wasn't like matte, like it was covered in makeup. It looked like real skin with the sheen and texture in that. And in this, now it's like, it's warmer, it's flatter. It looks like they've done digital makeup to her. But obviously when you look at the whole video, you look at the elderly actress in the video as well, and all the detail of all the wrinkles in her face is kind of gone and softened as well. So I think it's just something they've applied to the whole video. They haven't just gone in and done digital makeup on Madonna. They have actually redone the whole video, which, like I said, it does change how it feels, because it had a fairly real and gritty sort of feel to it. It almost felt to me like it was filmed in London or something, but it was filmed in LA, and it just had a nice texture to the film, and that's totally lost now. Like I said, it's warmer, the colour's a little bit brighter, but it has this flatness to it. And like Madonna's face, when you look at the close-ups of her, it looks like she's in full makeup now, and the colour of her lips is different, and just all these little things. And if you compare the videos, it's really noticeable. But if you just look at it, it doesn't make a huge difference. But it just felt different to me when I looked at it. But maybe I'm being really picky. Now, the video itself was very controversial at the time, which I didn't understand, because I'm not being particularly attached to the sensitivities of the patriarchy. I wasn't particularly triggered by this video when I saw it back in the day, but all the men were. they were all scared that if like women watch this Madonna video, they'd all run out, get in their cars and start running men down or something. It was like they were scared of it. They wouldn't show it. It's not uber violent or anything, certainly compared to what we see on TV. But MTV wouldn't air it. They aired it it actually aired before the single was released. The single was released the 16th or the 17th. I've seen different dates of April, back in 2001, so 20 years ago. Doesn't seem that long ago. And the video was on March 20 though, so it was like about a month earlier. And they showed it, I think, once on MTV at a particular time with like an introduction and a disclaimer. And then some channels would show it after 9, some would show it after 11, some wouldn't show it at all. A few actually just showed it without caring because they were like on Oxygen. They were a network that was for a slightly older demographic, so they didn't sort of have to worry about kids seeing it and emulating Madonna's, uber violent feminist statements or anything. So it was interesting to sort of witness that sort of slight hysteria at the time. I remember in Australia, I had to wait to see it on one of our late night sort of TV shows, and I don't know if it was 9 or 10 or 11 or something that it aired, and they put it on at the end of the show, and then they ran the credits over the end of it as well, which is annoying as hell. But that's how I had to wait to see it on TV. And it did get shown on Rage, which is the Australian sort of music video channel, but I can't remember now if they only showed it at night or if they actually showed it in the countdown, because it did reach, I think, number 6 in Australia. It did better in Australia than it did in America, which is often the case with some Madonna singles, actually, at least in the late, especially in the noughties. But yeah, I mean, the video was kind of amazing. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure everyone has. Basically, she goes and takes out what appears to be a grandmother from the home. She's a bit out of it, and she drives her on a bit of a ride around town where she hot wires the car in the first place, and she picks up her grandmother. I guess it's her grandmother. We never really know. Could just be a random stranger. Who knows? She could have just walked her out. She tases a guy, steals his money at an ATM. She gets some takeout. She gives a very generous tip to the waitress. She fires a realistic water pistol at some cops and then backs into them and blows their airbags so they can't follow her. And then she drives through a car park and runs over some boys who are playing hockey. Then she goes to a service station and swaps her car for another car that's a guy's just refueled, and steals that and runs him over and blows up the petrol station. And then she drives her car straight into a pole and apparently kills herself and the elderly lady, who I guess is her grandmother. We don't really know. I don't think anyone's ever explained. I don't think Guy Ritchie or Madonna ever really explained the video. He implied some of the answers were found in Greek mythology, which I think was just him being a bit of a Guy Ritchie. And yeah, I liked it at the time. I was I watched it a lot. It's one of my favourite Madonna videos, but I never understood the reaction that it got from people. It was, people say Open Your Heart was banned on MTV. I don't think it was, but Justify My Love and Erotica were banned, and this was the third video to be banned on MTV. And like Justify My Love, it was released on DVD, or not video, that was released on video, but released on DVD, so it would get a wide release, and so people would get to see it. And that was the only good thing about it, was that I got to buy it on DVD and have a Madonna DVD, because music had been released, but that was the only single Madonna DVD that had been released at that point. And I'm not even sure why it was. It just seemed to be, I guess because it was the lead single and the last album had done really well, so they just did a single. It sold pretty well. But What It Feels Like for a Girl was the third single. They didn't, it wasn't really planned. They just did it because, the video, because, they wanted it to be seen and they needed to promote the single. And it was good, but, obviously it wasn't full widescreen. It wasn't great quality or anything, but back then we were watching them on TVs. We didn't know the difference. But it was great to have Madonna video, Madonna DVD, because I bought them. It was great. It made you feel really special as a Madonna fan, that, you know, there was as much merchandise that, you know, you could buy Madonna videos. They weren't just shown on TV. You could buy them like they're important enough to be sold in stores. It was a nice little ego boost as a Madonna fan. But yeah, the version that's on Celebration is much better, and this version, although it is in full HD, like I said, the filtering and the AI or whatever they've used to alter it, it really changes it and changes the look and gives it a more Hollywood sort of soft, filtered sort of look. And I prefer the original. But that's my little review. I just sort of watched it and I just thought, oh, like, I'm disappointed because when she did HD versions of Frozen and Bedtime Stories and all that, they were really accurate. They were really true to the original versions. They were just, you know, in high definition, in, you know, quality prints or copies or scans. And this, they've sort of worked it over. So they've worked over the girl. She's been worked over, and she's showing signs of it. Yeah, a little disappointed. I'm really worried about the future HD versions they're going to do of the songs, the videos. I hope they're not all like this. I hope they're more like the other ones, where they just really make you feel like you're seeing it for the first time, not like you're seeing it through like gauze and a filter. But yeah, I'm going to stop talking now. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Did you notice a difference? Am I just being really anal and picky? I am a bit interested in film restoration and that sort of thing, so I do notice these sort of things. I don't know if the general people, the average person, does. But yeah.